Uh, it's been about 2 months now, or at least close to it, but I am back, and this time it will be on a regular basis once again, which means a video every other day, every week, for an entire month. I'm not going to be taking any more breaks for a while. Before I get started, I just want to say that me and a friend of mine, Movie Doctor, the Movie Doctor, link will be in the description. We are working on some projects, a couple podcasts we're doing. Those will hopefully come out soon. Uh, and we're going to be doing something probably next year. It's a big project, top secret for now. Uh, he's working on getting some funding for that. Um, and hopefully it'll be good. And also, in December, I'm going to try to get a new camcorder. I've been holding it off for a while now. If nothing comes up, it will be December. I promise. And yeah, that's about it. So we kick it off with Roman Reigns coming out. And he gets interrupted by Stephanie McMahon, who then, after trying to explain some things to Reigns, gets interrupted by Mick Foley, and Mick Foley goes on this tirade about how he feels a little insulted that people continue to undermine his authority. And I'm just sitting here thinking, well, look at who your partner is. Has she ever shown that she is someone that can be trusted? I mean, there was one time where she was actually a legit babyface, and that was during her original SmackDown run as general manager. Way back in the old days. Not too far back, like maybe mid-2000s or something like that. Early to mid-2000s, I'd say. And he announces that Rollins will be facing Rusev, and Reigns will be facing Kevin Owens in the main event. And the Rollins versus Rusev match starts right away. And one highlight before I get to the results is Rollins actually lifting vertically. He vertically lifted Rusev, which is like a 280-pound man, right? He lifted him vertically and slammed him with a Falcon Arrow, and they say he did this with an injured back. I'm just impressed that he did it at all, to be honest, regardless of having an injured back. Dana, Charlotte, and Foley have a backstage segment, and Dana and Charlotte are explaining how there was a double pin in the last. There was like a double pin in the last match that they were in. Dana was in, and it was between Dana, Sasha, and Bayley, and Bayley got pinned, but it was a double pin. So Foley decides that it's going to be a triple threat at Clash of Champions, which apparently is this Sunday, which I had forgotten all about that. Whatever. So, he rules that it's going to be a triple threat this Sunday. And besides that, Dana gets the taste slapped out of her mouth, and I'm just hoping she turns on Charlotte. I just hope that she turns on Charlotte at the pay-per-view. That's what I'm hoping. The next match is Strowman versus Sin Cara, which obviously Strowman won. But Sin Cara put up a pretty good fight with suicide dives and stuff like that. But he just couldn't get the job done. This time, unlike the last time, there was an actual victory, not a count-out victory. Rollins versus Rusev was double count-out, by the way, for those of you who didn't actually watch it. Strowman beats Sin Cara with an Oklahoma Slam. And, I mean, he's getting better competition, but Sin Cara is small potatoes. He's still small potatoes compared to the people Strowman should be facing. Someone like Big Show. Where's he been? And Mark Henry, he doesn't get enough TV time. I mean, give this guy real competition. Sasha and Bayley talk about how things were in the past and how they are now. And Sasha and Bayley argue about who's going to be the women's champion backstage. Charlotte and Dana win a tag team match against Sasha and Bayley. Rollins goes into Stephanie's office, complains about getting screwed over, blames her for everything, as usual. Which, it wouldn't surprise me if she turned out to be in on the little thing, the little betrayal that Triple H did. Bo Dallas against Gary Graham, who's apparently Michael Hayes' grandson, which I find it very disrespectful that he's a jobber. I mean, really? I don't think Michael Hayes started out as a jobber, did he? I find it very disrespectful that a lot of the legacies are turning out to be jobbers. That kind of irritates me. But Bo Dallas wins against Gary Graham, and I'm just like, I mean, it's an unneeded jobber match. Bo Dallas does not need to be built up this way. I mean, what happened to before when he was taking on actual members of the roster? Back during his original debut, that's what he was doing. Cesaro versus Sheamus in match 6 of the best of 7. Cesaro wins. Very entertaining match. Cesaro, at one point, did a, he did like, some sort of spinning, uppercut, spinning European uppercut, springboard spinning European uppercut, and he uppercutted Sheamus from the outside, made him go over the barricade. Sheamus did the white noise, which is actually supposed to be the Celtic Cross. It's what they called it when Finlay was wrestling. Sheamus did that move on the apron to Cesaro. But yeah, Cesaro wins after a mid-air European uppercut followed by the neutralizer. Jericho and Foley have a heated argument about how Jericho's, he thinks that Foley supposedly never liked him, and Foley talks about how he recommended Paul Heyman to Jericho and all that. And Jericho says he has a list, which is dumb. And the list that Jericho has made no sense. Absolutely none. I swear. He was skipping numbers. It was dumb. And a bunch of people interfere in this. Enzo and Cass, Shining Stars, New Day, the club. Sami Zayn attacks Chris Jericho as he's leaving. Then it erupts into a tag match, which I'm not going to go into, because I didn't even pay attention to it, so I don't even remember who won, and I really don't care, because I hate impromptu tag matches. Brian Kendrick versus Rich Swann versus Gran Metalik versus Cedric Alexander. These 4 men tore it up. especially Cedric Alexander and Rich Swann. They had a exchange of sorts. I believe it was Rich Swann that tried to do a head scissor on a Cedric Alexander, but uh, he did like a kip up counter type thing, and then he got popped in the mouth, of course. And Graham Lake did some pretty cool stuff, like the standing on the he stood on the second rope and did a drop kick. Uh, Brian Kendrick um, was kind of impressive, but I think it was Rich. It was Rich Swann that I think did a tiger bomb and into a bridge pin that was broken up. Um, it was I believe it was probably Cedric Alexander that did the modified backstabber on Graham Metalik. Sorry if I'm mixing these up. I just have a bad memory. Brian Kendrick ultimately won with a sort of modified version of the bank statement. It started out looking like Randy Orton's backstabber, and then he flipped. I think it was Rich Swann into a crossface. I'm really bad at this. I'm sorry. I don't know. I have a bad memory. So the final match, Reigns versus Owens, mildly entertaining. I can't say very much about it, but Reigns won by escaping the cage because apparently that's all cage matches are good for, is not making anyone look weak, because you hardly ever see a pin in those kind of matches. It's very sad, really. I don't know about it. But yeah, it tonight's Raw wasn't too bad. It was sort of missing some flair in some spots. The cruiserweight match was really good. Lots of highlights in that. Braun Strowman starting to take on people from the main roster, even though it's only been Sin Cara so far. Hopefully someone else will show up. Yeah, and I can't wait for this Sunday. It's going to be great. And hopefully I can stick around this time, do some stuff. And that's it. I am Mike Wayne, aka Rebel180. So long until tomorrow when I do a SmackDown Live review.